The wolf furiously snapped at the high priest, its shackles rattling as it charged. Saliva dripped from the demon's fangs, splattering against the walls each time it lunged. The rage potion had worked splendidly, yet again. Leaving the beast in the main room of the grotto, Ekalon headed for the dungeons. Another wolf demon waited, but he remained in human form. He was young, probably not yet 20 years of age, and sat huddled up in the far corner of his cell in a pool of his own urine. His clothing was ripped and stained, and his face already bruised. Ekalon opened the door, light flashing out before him. The burning magic enveloped the demon, achieving a most satisfying scream. Talking, the light then gained a tight hold of the prisoner's body. A single pull by Ekalon saw the demon scraping along the floor. "Come willingly, or I shall force you." The demon wailed, tears streaming down his face. "Please, spare me!" Ekalon smirked. "Spare you? A demon? Don't make me laugh." Swinging his arm in the other direction, he hurled the demon out of the cell, the prisoner crashing down onto the cold stone floor. Sprawled out at the high priest's feet, the demon grimaced as a sandaled foot slapped against his face. "Get up!" Ekalon hissed. The demon swayed, slowly rising by using the nearby wall for support. "Now move!" The two made their way to the torture room, where the feral wolf charged them without delay. The shackles tightened, and the beast swung back, its paws kicking into the air as it landed on its behind. Rolling over, it regained its feet, then threw itself forward again. The other demon's eyes widened. "Becca! Pitiful creature!" Ekalon snorted, motioning his prisoner forward. The demon stared at him, unwilling to move. "Get on with it! I want to see what will happen should you approach." She'll kill me!" the demon cried. She's gone feral!" "You cannot take a demon's word for it," Ekalon said coldly, then shoved him forward. The wolf closed its jaws around the other demon's arm, furiously shaking its head from side to side. Shrieks echoed within the cavern, and flesh squelched as the limb came away from its socket. Crimson splattered the nearby wall, the severed arm flung aside, and the body collapsed into a heap. In a renewed attack, the wolf clawed at the other demon's chest, exposing ribs and organs through the mutilated tissues. Sinking its teeth into the young man's neck, the wolf tugged and pulled, claret gushing from severed arteries. The wolf bore down on its victim a final time. A violent bite saw the jaw come away from the head, but the beast would still not stop. The feral creature continued to rip the already mutilated remains apart, devouring the flesh bit by bit. Ekalon couldn't hold back a grin, wiping blood from his cheek. Like a charm. Looking down at himself, he noted that his robes needed changing, but that was of little consequence. The trial this day marked a turning point in his research. The demons would indeed go for their own when afflicted by his rage potion. Crossing the room, Ekalon cupped his hands into a bowl of water and splashed his face to clean himself. He then donned new robes and threw the old ones in a pile by the entrance tunnel. He looked at his table of vials and tools. Another batch of the rage potion would have to be prepared, but how could he make it even more potent than the last? Footsteps sounded, and a guard came down the entrance tunnel. "Your Holiness, the sentenced are ready to receive their punishment. The whipping pillar has been prepared, and the priests have gathered." "Good. I shall join you this instant." Ekalon faced the crowd filling the square, a gathering of all the inhabitants of the temple grounds. "We are here this evening to witness the flagellation of Priest Micah Astley, Priest Hugh Calder, and Senior Priest Adina Barton, all guilty of negligence in their duties towards the great goddess of holy light. They are thus sentenced to 200 lashes each, followed by self-healing under house arrest for 4 consecutive days. He motioned for his guard to bring the convicted forward. Adina walked ahead of the others, wearing a simple wheat-coloured dress with an open back. She was followed by Micah and Hugh, both of whom were bare-chested. They were forced to stand in the snow as the guards beckoned Micah forward. He would be the first one to receive his punishment. Sweat poured down his face as he waited for the lash of the whip, the guards securing him to the pillar. "The sentence may be carried out," Ekalon proclaimed, flashing a look at the enforcer. The guard stepped forward, brandishing his whip, a silver-handled cat-o'-nine-tails. He swung his arm out, and the many knotted thongs of cotton cord rippled down over Micah's back. Then again, and again. The punishment was long, the sheer number of strokes eventually allowing the short whip to work its way into Micah's skin. With every lash, the priest groaned louder, his knees buckling underneath him. "Stand, or there shall be more lashes," Ekalon bellowed, prompting the priest to draw himself up along the pillar. It felt like a lifetime before the 200 lashes had passed, blood pooling around the wooden pillar. The guards released Micah from his shackles and dragged him away through the snow. They then led Hugh forward, and the procedure was repeated. With the surface already slippery to stand on, he struggled to remain upright. The ice melted with the warm body fluids, creating a pink slush of suffering around him. As the 100th stroke rippled across his back, he let out a gut-wrenching shriek, then sagged, his body still. "Halt the lashes," Ekalon ordered. "Allow him to wake before you resume. He needs to experience all of it." Hugh fainted several times throughout his punishment, so it dragged on. It took over an hour before Adina's turn came, and the guards secured her to the whipping pillar. Adina gazed out over the many onlookers. Her eyes were red and swollen, not because of what was to come, but because of everything wrong with the events of this day. She had been brought up in the temple village, raised as a devout preacher of the light, and now she would be punished for nothing. Absolutely nothing. This was not them. This was not the priesthood. Adina winced as the cat hammered down on her, yet she would endure. It was her only choice. She needed to focus, to concentrate on her future and what it held. This could not be a part of it.